Hey everybody, my name is Benjamin and I'm a strength and conditioning intern here at Washington State University. And today we're going to go over how to perform a bench press rep. So let's get into it. Alright, so when we talk about bench press, it is an amazing press movement. It's one of the most popular lifts out there. When we talk about muscles that it's working a lot of pec major, those big pec muscles, right? A lot of shoulder, a lot of shoulder muscles, and then kind of the forgotten child of the muscles that bench press works is our triceps. Triceps are arguably the most important muscle in a bench press. If you have weak triceps, you're not going to have a very strong bench press. So those are the muscles that it's working. And depending on how you grip the bar, you can work different muscles. So let's say you want to grip the bar wider, you're going to work a lot more chest, a lot more shoulder, a lot of pec major. Then grip the bar more narrow, you're going to start working those triceps. Those are the muscles we're working and kind of how to work them in the bench press. Now let's talk about rack setup and how to stay safe on the rack when you're performing a bench press. All right, so when we're setting up our rack for a bench press, there are two main things that we want to worry about. We want to worry about how tall the bar is and where our safety catches are placed, okay? So with the bar, we want to have it at such a height to where when we fully extend our arms, we unrack it from the J-hooks and bring it out for a full rep. You don't want to have the J-hooks too low to where you have to really press up to get them clear, because that's just wasting your energy and wasting energy from not even a rep. You're just getting ready for your set. You don't want to waste that energy when you're bench pressing. So I'll show you what that looks like right now. If I go down and I unrack the bar just by fully extending my arms, you can see that it clears the J-hooks. It completely clears the J-hooks. And if I do a rep, I have plenty of room to re-rack the bar. But I'm also not dropping it crazy far, wasting that energy, right? Now when we talk about the safety catches, why the safety catches are here is if we don't have a spotter, we're gonna need something here to catch the bar in case we fail a rep. So I'm gonna do this right now. I'm gonna pretend to fail a rep, and you'll see that these are here to catch the bar from crushing you and injuring you, okay? So if I unrack the bar and I fail the rep, the bar is right there, and I can get up and I can be safe, all right? Obviously, if there's somebody there to spot you, that is the priority and that is the safest option, but these are also here to make sure we have a safe time bench pressing. All right, so now that we have our rack set up well, and we know what to look for in a well set up rack, we're gonna set up our bodies. And so I'm gonna talk to you and walk you through how to do that right now. So when we're bench pressing, we want 5 points of contact, all right? We want feet contact with the floor, all right? We want our butt in contact with the bench. We want our shoulders in contact with the bench. We want our neck in contact with the bench. We want our head in contact with the bench. So there's a lot of contact going on, all right? So even if you have your back kind of up off of the bench a little bit, as tends to happen in a bench press, your butt and your shoulders are still there, okay? So those are our 5 points of contact that make for a stable bench press, okay? Now, oftentimes what we want to do is we want to, when we're on the bench, we want to retract our shoulders and retract our scapula, and that will give us a more stable base for bench pressing and allow us to move more weight more safely, okay? And now what that ends up doing is it raises your back off of the bench. That is fine as long as we have our butt and our shoulders still solidly on the bench. Now, another body placement thing we want to do, another cue, is we want to have our feet driving down into the floor, okay? If we have the weight pushing down on us, we want to transfer that energy all the way through our body and drive that weight down through the floor by way of our feet, right? And that helps us focus on pushing the floor away and pushing that bar up, okay? Now, when we talk about how we want our hands on the bar, how we want our shoulders to look, kind of how the bar is kind of placed with our body, what we want to do, we already talked about hand placement, right? If we want more chest, we go farther out. If we want more tricep, we go closer in. What we want for our general guidelines, if you're working with a newer person, is what we want is we have our hands about shoulder width apart on that bar. So if you reach forward and have your hands just ahead of your shoulders, that's how we're gonna grab the bar to start. That's a general rule of thumb. And then you can play with the variations later as you get to your own personal taste. All right, now when we go underneath the bar, we want the bench set up in just a way that our eyeballs are right in line with the bar. And that'll make sure that when we unrack it, we move it over to our chest, lower the bar down to about our nipple line, and then we press it up, we move it back over our eyeballs, and we rack it on the J-hooks. Okay? I know that's a lot. I know it's kind of hard when you're not watching it. I promise we're gonna get a nice little shot of a full rep, and you're gonna be able to see these cues in play and in action, and then hopefully it'll make sense. So let's get into that right now. All right, I did want to mention real quick, when we're going down with the bar, we want our forearms to stay perpendicular with the floor. All right, so no matter how wide your grip is, you always want your forearm, if the floor is right here, my forearm is perpendicular to the floor, right? 90-degree angle with the floor, okay? And that'll make sure that your arms are in a good position for that bench press, okay? So now we're gonna go for the full rep, and I'll show you what that looks like, how all those cues play in, all right? Okay. So I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna position my body to where my eyeballs are right under the bar. I'm gonna put my hands about shoulder width apart. I'm gonna drive my feet into the floor. I'm gonna retract my scapula. I'm gonna retract my shoulders. I'm going to extend my arms, unrack that bar, move the bar down about the nipple line, press the bar back up, then re-rack it. Okay? So that's a full rep of the bench press. Okay? It's not a very complicated movement, but you still want to make sure you're doing those things right to avoid injury. Okay? That, remember, bar starts over the eyeballs, we unrack it, we move it over the nipple line. Then when we're up, when we're racking it, we put it back over the eyeballs down to the J-hooks. Okay? So I'll get you a different view so you can see the whole body as it's moving through the bench press, and hopefully you'll learn something from that, and it'll be a good demonstration. All right, well, that is a full demonstration of the bench press. Hope you learned something good, and remember, stick to those cues and you'll stay safe and you'll have a lot of fun with this iconic lift. So thank you for watching, and go Cougs.